So I'll just come on really to do some basic control circuits and stuff like that. Yeah, let me know if you want to see anything in particular, and I can show it. Let's start off with something basic. Let's bring in a battery supply to a 24-volt control circuit. I've not really planned anything. Let's chuck one of these in. I'll have to zoom out a bit, I think, just so I can make some space for you lot. Good evening, everyone who's just joined. Relay, where's that? Let's chuck that on there. And we want a... Where's the symbol for an emergency stop button? Is that it? No. I'm being blind, I know I am. There it is. That's it there. There we go. How's everyone doing tonight? What are you all up to on your Friday night? Let's do something like that. That wants to be normally open, so that's wrong. Delete. There we go. Rotate that. Let's give ourselves a bit more space. What can you lads see? Where can I get this program? Just off the Microsoft Store, mate. Totally free. You can pay a little fee to get timers and stuff, but it is free. This is called Simu Relay. Simu Relay? It's on the Microsoft Store. It's really good for like testing a control circuit before you actually build it and wire it and stuff like that. It's really good because you can simulate it all and that. Welcome everyone who's just joined. Right, what was I going to do next? Let's do a selector switch. Put that in there. I feel like I can name these. I forgot. I use this software every so often. I don't use it all the time, so I'm struggling to remember what's what. Comment. There we go. Selector. Can't spell. Selector switch. What's everyone up to this evening? What have you all been doing today? I don't really know what I'm doing here, to be fair. I'm just making up a random circuit just to show off the software, talk controls, that sort of thing. K2. Okay, that's a timer. I don't want a timer. Alright, it's not going to lay out very well. I can tell that already. Let's hook those two up. Let's chuck that in there. Chuck that in there. Pull that up. Don't want to pull up. There we go. Just to run this, just to show you how it works. You put it into play. You can see I've got my positive, which is the red wires. I've got my negative, which is the blue wires. Sat watching your live, obviously. Well, you're a clever cunt, aren't you, mate? You're a clever cunt. How are you doing, the engineer? You all good? Altazme. I'm not sure what that means, mate. Kindly share about the software. This software is called Simu Relay. It's on the Microsoft Store for free. TriStar, thank you for the follow, mate. So yeah, put it into run, and every time I click, oh, you won't be able to see this, but can I show this? Can I show this? Can I show this? If I pull this up, eventually you can see it. There we go. So I've got 3 little buttons down here. It's in position 1 at the minute, which is this connection here. I put it into position 2. You can see it move to 2. Put it in position 3. You can see it move to 3. All good, thanks. Good stuff, mate. Good stuff. What you been up to today? You been at work? Can everyone hear me all right? I'm using a different mic today. Right, so let's come out of simulation mode. Let's pull it up here a little bit. So now we've got some relays in. I can maybe... Let's do a single phase motor. Where's my... Fuck, all my stuff's moved now. Two secs. Can you see that alright now? Pull it over a bit. There we go, all good. Sounds fine, good stuff. Javier, thank you for the follow, mate. Carey Kim, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate it. Right, let's rotate this. It's hard to show it with this little screen. I'll tell you what, we'll just forget about the control side for now. Let's concentrate on this bit. Harvey's, thank you for the follow. Burger, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate it. Let's go for a live and neutral on there. Let's pull in a little single phase motor. This one here. Let's pull that down. Let's what else shall we do? Which program is this? This is Simu Relay. It's called SIMU Relay. It's on the Microsoft Store. It's free. You don't have to pay anything. You have to pay, I think, something like £10 or something like that if you want the timers, but that's it. You don't need the timers. It's not AutoCAD, mate. No, it's not AutoCAD. Right, so I need to remember where all the parts are. Let's do 2 contacts, 1 to live, 1 to neutral. Go down there. Oh, in fact, I've not put an overload in. Would be massively. Oh, that's UK. It's you waffling on. Let's chuck an overload in, and you're wiring a motor. If it's bigger than about half a kilowatt, is it half a kilowatt? Yeah, I think that's what the standards say. You need to be putting in an overload on that motor. So let's play. No, let's not play because I haven't put the contact coil in yet. Now it's a pain. I'm gonna have to. Let's carry on down here. So I'll put over this side. This is gonna get messy. I'm doing it on the fly. What app? Simu Relay. Does it go forward and reverse? I tried it. It doesn't using the app. You would have to put the controls in to make it go forwards and backwards, mate. Right, contactor. Believe that's a contactor. If I change the value on it to tag to a KM, there we go. And what are we saying? Let's do an off position, manual and auto, I'm thinking. Let's go for that. So push buttons. There's a push button. Let's bring a normally open in. Let's bring a normally closed push button in. Cruise T, thank you for follow, mate. Thank you for liking the live. Really appreciate it. Welcome to everyone who's just joined. Just putting together a basic control circuit just to show the software off. Talk about controls. If you've got any questions, just ask me. This is called Simu Relay, mate. It's just an app that's on the Microsoft Store. Let's put start and stop in. And then we're going to need an auxiliary contact off the contactor. Let's bring that up here. Wants to go in parallel to the start contact. Let's make that KM5. If that will work, I'm hoping it will. It's been a good while since I used this. I do use it a lot too. Well, not a lot. I use it every so often for if I'm doing some hardwired controls on it. When I'm designing a control panel, I'll use this, make sure it works. I'm trying it now. How are you doing the connecting wires? If you just want to connect some wires together, you see the top. So if I zoom in, there's little squares. You click that little square, and then you find another little square, and it will join them. I don't need that. So what was I doing? KM5. So there's my manual starting, but what I need is K2 in circuit, so that it only does manual starting when we're in this position here. Thank you for the follow, mate. Really appreciate the cat. What is it called? It's called Simu Relay. SIMU Relay. Do you know of any free online courses for electrics? Not for qualifications, just for knowledge. Not off the top of my head, mate. I'd say YouTube's the best bet. Just go on YouTube. There'll be plenty on there. Simu Relay could be a great app if it was supported more. Yeah, I mean, I think it just got a big update not so long ago. All these colours, they're all new. They weren't there a couple of months ago. I don't know if they added anything new. I feel like some of these motor symbols look different. GSH Electrical on YouTube. I'm not aware of that channel. Maybe I'll have a look at that myself. Cheers, mate. Welcome to everyone who's liking the live, who's joined, who's following. Learn electrics if you want to do house bashing. Anyway, let me get back to what I was doing. So K2, I need to add that in. And I need a normally open contact of K2. So if anyone's not following anything I'm doing, just give me a shout. At some point I'll move this battery out of the way because it shouldn't be in the middle like this. I need to make a little bit more space. Let me just pull some stuff up. And make sure you can all see that as well. August, thank you for sharing the live. Really appreciate that. Thank you to everyone who's joining, liking, following. NY, thank you for the follow, mate. Really appreciate it. So that's not K1. That wants to be K2. Change the value on that to K2. So there's the manual start. The manual start only works when we're in this position. Let's do an automatic start. What's the best way of doing that then? In fact, let's not do automatic. We just do always on. It's always running if we're in position 2. Can you talk us through the operation of it when you finish, like relays operating? Yeah, no problem. And in fact, it's quite easy to do that with this software because you'll be able to see all the colours for what's live and not live and that sort of thing. So K3, I just want to bring that straight down. Patrick, thanks for the follow. Jammer2Z, thank you for sharing the live, mate. Really appreciate that. PBO1, welcome, mate. How are you doing? Recent updates to Simu Relay is annoying. I've not used it enough to be able to get annoyed by it just yet. Float switch. I could do a float switch. I'm gonna keep it simple. I don't want to start making it complicated, so I'm gonna pull that straight down here if it'll let me. I can't click it. Fuck's sake. Come on. Let's move you up a little bit. That's better. Pull that down because it looks weird. Okay, so let me just move this battery across because it shouldn't be there. That looks a little bit better. Let's shift it all up. Can you guys see that all right? Yeah, thank you to everyone liking and sharing. Built a few panels at my previous workplace. I had a question I had. How do you know where to place things? As in, like, where to physically place them in the panel. What's the name of this software? I paper before putting droids on CAD. This seems very cool. It's called Simu Relay. SIMU Relay. It's a bit of a design and simulation software. You can find it on the Microsoft Store. It's totally free. The only thing you do need to pay for, if you want them, it's totally optional, is timers. I think that's it. I'm not aware of any more that you get other than timers. Just pulling this along just to tidy it up a bit. You can't quite see that. It looks a bit crazy at the minute. And then bring the motor across. I've put no protection on the motor. I probably ought to. I haven't bothered. It'll do for now. So there's the motor circuit. There's our, what would you call it? High voltage type. You know, it's only 230, but it's higher voltage than 24. The dangerous part. Let's put a bit of text in. So I'll label this. This is our AC section. And another bit of text. It's our DC section. You will have seen some. If you've followed me for a while, you will have seen I've made some videos of this. They changed how the numbering and cross-reference of contacts works. Yes, I've noticed that. There's like a second level to the numbering side now. So on the design side, I just built them, but always had an interest in the design. Let me just go back to in the design side. You basically there is no really right and wrong way to place things. It's just how legible is it, and that just comes down to really experience, I think. Can you repeat the name of the software? Simu Relay. Katie, do you just want to type it in? Oh, in fact, Jecamda. They've put it in already. That's fine. Oh, and PB01 as well. Yeah, thank you. Pin that comment, Katie. So anyway, let me run this. I think we're good to run. So you can see when I press play, we'll just look at the DC section for now. When I press play, you get colors, and you can see that certain things are. Ah, fuck! Wait a minute. That's not supposed to be K1. That's supposed to be K3. K3. There we go. I'll press play again. Yeah, you can see colors. You can see there's red, and that's showing you where the positive side of the battery is reaching. And you see when the relay's yellow, that means it's energized. I get you. Was always going to answer was given, but thought there was be. Yeah, so relays that are yellow are energized. Relays that are still dark aren't energized. Ian, thank you for the follow, mate. And at the moment, K1 is currently energized, which puts a supply down here, down this side, down this switch, onto this relay K2. So K2 is also energized. If I was to move this switch to position 2, you can see that the supply isn't coming down here anymore. There's no positive down here, so K2 is de-energized. Now the switch is in position 2. What I'm calling, well, you can't see the switch positions until I do that. So this is what I've just done. I went from position 1 to position 2. That moved the switch into the middle. So now K3 is energized. And when K3 is energized, so the middle position is always on. So KM1. Oh, for fuck's sake, I've done it again. It's supposed to be KM5. Wait there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Back to position 2. Apologies. There we go. The motor's running. So position 2 is the motor's always on. Regardless of what happens, the motor's always running. Apple user, thank you for the follow. But when we're in position 1, we need to use the buttons. So at the minute, it's already locked in because it was always on. I press the stop button, it all goes off. I press the start button, it all comes back on. Let me run you through the start circuit. So let me stop it again. You see the batteries here, the positive is getting up to the top side of S3. So S3 is my on button. Christoph, thank you for follow. M-Dog, thank you for follow as well. Yeah, the positive's getting onto the top of S3, and it's getting no further because S3 is open. So if I press S3 now, the supply goes through S3. S4 is normally closed, so it's already closed. The supply goes straight through. It goes through K2 because K2 is closed through this relay down here. Oh, hang on. This relay down here. Not right now, Mr. Powell. Sorry, mate. Yeah, we go through K2 and it energizes KM5. So we just momentarily pressed S3. It closed momentarily. The minute I let go, if this KM5 contact here wasn't there, KM5 would just de-energize. So this is what's called a latching circuit. It's or holding circuit, and other people call it, because KM5, which is a contact of itself, it's holding it in. And it's basically, so when you press that start button and let go, KM5 energizes very quickly and closes on itself. So when you let go of that start button, it stays energized. Hopefully that makes sense. What site? Look at the pin comment, mate. What are you using to draw these circuits? Pin comment. I was gonna say like latch input. Yeah. That's a latch. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And you need a stop button as well as a start button because you need some way of breaking that latch. So KM5 at the minute is held in. You've got no way of de-energizing KM5 unless you press that stop button. So press that. The positive that was making its way down here, because I've opened that, stops here. KM5 de-energizes, and then that opens the contact back up. Hopefully that makes sense for everyone. And then the other position, the final position, position 3, is always off because I never wired K4 to do anything. You can't quite see that. Let me just zoom out a bit. There we go. Yeah. In fact, let me just try something. I'm just making sure I can see what you can see. All the text is kind of in the way, which is a bit annoying. All the comments. I've got no better way of showing it. Can you all see that all right? There we go. Anyway, 71 people in. Thank you everyone who's joined the live, liking the live, sharing the live. Really appreciate that. LF, thank you for sharing the live. Thank you for the follow. Joe Teme. And the engineer, thank you, mate. I've obviously missed it, but Katie's caught it. Thank you. I really appreciate that. KK, thank you for the follow. Tim Bob, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate it. Yeah, so really what I'm doing tonight is just going through some control circuits, showing you the software. Yeah, if anyone's got any questions, let me know. The name of the program is Simu Relay. You'll find it on the... oh, Katie's pinned it. You'll find it on the Microsoft Store for free. The only thing you might need to pay for is timers, if you are interested in timers, if you're even bothered by them. Okay, so I showed you all that. What you didn't see is, at the time of all that going on, just a second, let me sort my screen out, is this motor over here. So at the minute in position 3, the motor's off. It can't ever run, no matter what we do with the start and stop. It will never run because position 3 is basically the off position. I don't even need a relay there. I just wired it just in case. What do you think? What do you think about LT Spice? I haven't used LT Spice since I was probably about 19 years old, and that was a good long time ago. So I don't really remember it, to be fair, mate. I seem to remember it was something to do with electronics. Is that right? Like simulating electronic circuits and that. Panel wirer here, great contact. Thank you, Ash. Really appreciate it, mate. Very cool. Check out Simu Relay. Yeah, it is a good software. It's kind of basic, but it does a good job, and especially with it being free. If you followed me for a long time, you'd have seen some of my older videos used it. Yeah, so let's go back to the motors then. Let me put it into position 2. Position 3, that was always off. The motor will never run regardless. Position 1 is always on. 2, the middle position, is always on. So no matter what, that motor is going to run. And then position 1, that's the manual control where we can start and stop it. So I'll put it into position 2. You can see I've got a live and a neutral supply. The live goes through the contactor. As I mentioned earlier, I didn't put any protection in, as in fuses or circuit breaker or anything. I've just put the contactor and the overload. Just keep it simple. Chat GPT can sort this out. I don't know what you're on about there, mate. Sorry. What software is it? Sorry. It's the pin comment. Some guy. Appreciate the follow. Thank you. Abon1, appreciate the follow. Yeah, so live, neutral, both going through the contactor contacts. There's also an overload. The only way with this switch being in this position of this motor ever stopping is if the overload was to trip. And the overload might trip because of, as it's, called, it's overloaded. You've put too much load on the motor, or it's been running, well, that's basically it. It's a thermal overload. If the motor pulls too much current for a length of time, the overload's going to trip. I click that button, the motor trips, and then you would have to go and reset that. You can get auto resets on thermal overloads, so once they've cooled down, because they're like a bimetallic strip. It's not no problem, mate. I miss the pin comments all the time myself. I've finally seen it now, the engineer. I can see it up the top. Thank you for the 10, whatever those are. Thank you, mate. Really appreciate that. Anyway, let me reset the overload. Go back into position 1, which was the manual start and stop. At the minute it's running, you see the motor's running. I press the stop button, motor goes off. You know, I can trip this at will. It doesn't have to be running, just in the software. So if I press start now, although the control circuit is all energized up and lit up, and the contactor has come on, because the overload tripped, it's not getting to the motor. Jacob, thank you for the follow, mate. Really appreciate it. Has anyone got any questions about any of that? Yeah, fire away. Oh, one other thing I've not shown you. So sometimes what you'll find is some circuits have like a master trip relay. And what that basically is, if there's some sort of emergency or something, you slam like an e-stop. That's what I'm doing in this example, but it could be really anything, you know, depending on the circuit or, you know, the application. So you can see all my control circuit. Jose, thank you, mate. I really appreciate that. You can see from my circuit, it's all lit up. All the controls are active. You know, everything's working. I've got an e-stop button here, S1. If I was to bash that, so I click that now, all my controls go off, and as a result of that, my motor goes off too. So that's like your safety circuit. That might even be a safety relay. But the way that works in this circuit is the power supply is here, the battery. I think you can all see that, all right? Yeah. The battery comes along into K1, and then it goes through K1 before it gets to the selector switch and to the relays that do the controls. And by the fact that that's in that position there, in series with every single part of them, you know, them relays, if that ever opens, that K1, it cuts everything off. Is there a step-down transformer for the controls, or is it powered separate? In this case, it's just 24 volt DC from a battery. In reality, you'd probably, I mean, you could have a battery. We use batteries a lot in generator control panels. We just put like in a small set of like MP1212 cells or something like that to keep certain controls up while, you know, the power supply goes off or whatever. But a lot of the time, it's just a AC to DC power supply. Appreciate everyone who's sharing the live, everyone who's liking the live. Really, really appreciate it. So a UPS. I mean, you can use a UPS, but this is a 24. So what you'll find is in a control panel, you'll either have a set of batteries, so like 20, you know, two 12 volt cells with a battery charger, or you might have no batteries. You might just have a power supply. If it's not that critical a control system, the power supply, you know, if the mains power was to go off, the controls go off. It's simple as that. It all depends on how critical it is. And sometimes you also have control panels powered by a UPS, which then goes to a power supply. And if the mains fails, the UPS still provides power to that power supply. No problem, Hector. Yeah, so that's just a real basic control circuit. It was a bit done on the fly. Has anyone got any questions or anything about any of that? Appreciate the roses, Jose. I think I did say earlier, but yeah, really appreciate that, mate. What else should we do next? What other components have we got? Just a second. I think you can see that all right. Come out of simulate mode. What other things can I show you? What other things can I show you? Pape, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate that, mate. So if you were to add a timer to that, you'd add it post contact, all right? No, if you wanted to put some sort of time circuit, you know, timer on this, you wouldn't do it in the AC section. Oh, You wouldn't do it in this section over here. You would do it in the control section. The timer would form part of your controls. The contactor, so the AC side. In fact, I'll just make it right because it's kind of bugging me that I didn't put it in now. I'll put in some protection. And that could be anything. It could be MCBs, could be fuses, could be whatever. I will find a set of MCBs. I'm going blind. Fuck it. I'll put in some fuses. Link them up. So that's basically your AC section. That will almost never change because you wouldn't do any sort of controls on your AC side. Your controls would always be on your DC side. DC Muck, Doc Muck, thank you for the follow, mate. Mozzarella, really appreciate the follow. Thank you for that. You're from Senegal. Nice. How's the weather out there? Please, I'm quite busy now, but can you record this live in case of next time? If I was to record it, I probably wouldn't post it or something. I can't do that, mate. Sorry. I'll be on live tomorrow again, probably though, if you're able to catch that. Maybe I'll put it on YouTube. I've got a YouTube. I don't really put much on there ever. Maybe I'll put it on there. What's the program you're using? This is called SimuRelay, mate. It's on the Windows Store, Microsoft Store, whatever it's called. What program are you using? I use AutoCAD, but it looks a lot better and easier. Nah, this isn't like a substitute for AutoCAD. Not all. I wouldn't say so, mate. It's called SimuRelay. It's on the Kate's pinned it. It's on the Microsoft Store. It's free. You don't have to pay for it. You do have to pay for timers, which I've got some timers. I could maybe put a timer in. Let's do that. Let's put a timer in. And I'm going to be honest, this is not something you would normally do. I see no reason why you would do this, but I'm going to do it just for the sake of it, just to show you. Let's put a timer in. Let's do a flash on-off delay. Oh, was there a proper flasher one? There is a flasher one. Let's delete that out. Nah, this is rare gem. It's hard to see this kind of tutorial. Please put it on YouTube. Yeah, I'll see, mate. I'll see if I can put it on YouTube. Right. So what was I going to do? K4. That's what I was going to pick up. Normally open contact. Make sure I change the value and don't forget this time. K4. Let's chuck that on there. Not everything I'm showing you is like real world stuff. I wouldn't do this normally. So if K4's on, it's going to start that timer going, and then KT2. I'm not entirely sure if any. Yeah, I think it might be one of them contacts. Let's give it a whirl. I don't fully remember how to use the software all that well. No, it's not one of them contacts. I want a KT contact. Are you a PLC tech? I work with PLCs, I do, mate. Yeah. It's not my full-time job. I don't just do PLCs. I'm a design engineer by trade. But as part of that, I do a lot of programming, a lot of testing, and that sort of thing as well. What software is this? Look at the pin comment, mate. It's called SimuRelay. So I'm looking for the contact which allows me to use that flasher. I'm not sure entirely what this software requires you to use for that flasher. KT, that looks good to me. KT2. Oh, I've picked a normally closed though, that's the problem. I want to normally open. Let's go for that. Values, KT, and we want KT2. That looks good to me. So, in theory, if I go into the third position on the selector switch, which you can't see there, if I go from 1 to 4, if I move that switch from 1 to 4, K4 will come on. K4 there will come on. It'll bring a positive down here onto this flashing timer. And as a result of that, KT2 will start flashing open and closed every, I'm guessing, 2 seconds. And that will energize KM5, which is the contactor coil for the motor. Like I said, oh shit, I've just knocked that. You would never do that in real life. I can't imagine any reason why you would. Maybe you would, I don't know. But let's put that into position 3. And you can now see KT2 is timing out. So it goes on for 2 seconds, off for 2 seconds, on for 2 seconds. Daz, shout out to... Oh, no, mate. Don't do me like that. If anyone was watching the stream last night, some guy came in and said... His words were... oh, fuck. What was it, Katie? Shout out to Dixon my ass. And I just read it and said it. I didn't think anything of it. And then later on, my missus came downstairs. Yeah, Dixon my ass. She was howling. I didn't even think of it. It didn't even occur to me. That was Chris Lamb, thank you for the follow, mate. Ben Salmon, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate that. I think we've got through all the software ones now. What sort of sector do you design for? It's power generation. That's what I work in, mate. What's this called? Pin comment, mate. It's called Simu Relay. Is this a game? It's not a game. No. It's just a basic software for helping design control circuits, and you can simulate them and that sort of thing. Appreciate the explanation, mate. Keep up the good work, mate. Thank you. Appreciate that, El. Rex, thank you for the follow. Can the software do star delta starter or inverters? It can do star delta. I don't think it can do inverters, mate. It can do star delta starters though. You have to build it yourself. What's going on here? Simulation's gone a bit weird, I think. Ah, I have to close... Silly, mate. I have to close up my fuses. I hadn't closed my fuses up, so now you can see the motors pinging away there. I love you. Thank you for the follow. Can I get the same software? You can, mate. It's totally free. The only thing you do have to pay for is the timers that I was just showing there. I think it's something like £10 or something like that. I can't really remember. It wasn't a great deal. But the software in general is free. You can download it off the Microsoft Store, design some circuits and simulate them. That would be great for 3-phase panels. You can do 3-phase in this as well. I've just done single phase. I was keeping it simple. I wasn't going crazy with it. So there's the circuit in full. I don't know how clearly you can see that, but yeah. Appreciate to everyone who's liked the live, who shared the live, who's following. Is there mobile or Xbox version? I think there might be mobile. I couldn't be sure. Xbox, I doubt it. I'm not sure it would be. The Real McCoy 100. Thank you for the follow, mate. Floppy relay. Not sure what that is, mate. That sounds like you're trolling me again. You can download it on the App Store. Or on the Xbox, or you're on about on the phone. LF. Flip-flop. Yeah, I guess it's a flip-flop relay, yeah. It's a flip-flop motor in a minute. Phone, yeah. Oh, so you can get it on the phone. I feel like I did have it at one point, but I use it on the computer most of the time. Danny Sav, thanks for sharing, mate. Good to see you again. How are you doing tonight? What's the name of the software? It's called Simu Relay. Appreciate it for everyone liking. Awesome information. Thank you, mate. Chloe, thanks for sharing. Kate, is that your mum? Unknown, thanks for the follow, mate. Does it not tell you the name of the components, though? It does. When you highlight over, I don't know how well you can see that, it tells you. So, like, see there's some fuses there, fuse switch, 3-pole fuse switch. Down here, single phase motor. You can't see that one, but overload, 3-pole overload. Hopefully that helps. No, okay. Do you enjoy doing this? I do, mate. Yeah, I do. I have a passion for what I do at work and controls and electrical and that sort of thing. Javen, thank you for sharing the live. Really appreciate that. So yeah, if you ever don't know what a part is, because you don't have to remember all this stuff off the top of your head. Just highlight it. It'll tell you what it is. You can put it in, have a go with it, and see how it works. It's called Simu Relay, Chloe. So or Chloe, I'm not sure how you pronounce your name, but yeah, on the Microsoft Store, it's for free. Javen, thank you for the follow, mate. Really appreciate that. I'm breaking it now. So I'll put it into play. We'll go through it all again because there's probably some new people joining. We've got a DC side, so this is where all our controls live. And then we've got an AC side, just a single phase motor. Let's put the fuses on, the fuse switch, close it up. We've got a contactor there. That's normally open. We've got a thermal overload, which is closed. So for the control side of things, this position of the switch here, which is energizing in K2, that's our manual position. So we've got control of the start and the stop. And if I just zoom out a little bit so you can all see, I press start, the motor starts. I press stop, the motor stops. Whenever I press the start button, I think you can see that all right. It's putting a supply down through S3, through S4 because that's normally closed, through K2 because that's already energized by being in the manual mode. That's basically our mode position, manual mode position. And then that's energizing KM5. The minute we let go of that button, if we didn't have a latch in here, KM5, it would all de-energize again. So what I've done is I've put KM5 in parallel to the start button. It's the minute I press the start button, K5 energizes and latches itself in. So this contact here, whenever that's energized, holds in. Do you do call outs? I don't, mate. No, I work in design, so I don't really work out in the site and stuff like that. All good, mate. You back again? Yeah, I am back. Did you find out what a Flipper Zero was from live yesterday? Flipper Zero? No, mate. I've forgotten already what we're even talking about there. What system are you building here? I'm not really building much, to be fair, mate. I was just going through the software, doing a bit of controls, having a bit of a chat. What it's ended up becoming is a motor start circuit for a single phase motor. Everyone really appreciate the follows and shares and likes and everything. It's gone crazy. Yeah, so it's ended up becoming a motor starting circuit. Let me go through these follows. IA Decisero, I think that's how you pronounce it. Thank you for the follow. Donald Duck, thank you for the follow. Who else? I'm not even going to try and pronounce your name. I'm going to call you Zozvu. Thank you for the follow, mate. Zist, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate it. Do you have a preferred PLC to work with? I'm making a very drastic switch from ABB to Siemens. My preferred PLC is Mitsubishi. I love the FX5. I love the IQRs. They're great. They're not overly popular, to be fair. There's not a massive amount of people that use them. Siemens is definitely the most popular, so you're probably making a good decision by going to Siemens. I've not used a Siemens PLC for like 10 years until maybe about a month ago when I bought one for doing videos and that sort of thing. Yeah, it's going well. I'm pretty enjoying it, yeah. Waleed, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate that. Have you ever thought about building automation system? I've not, mate. No, that's a different field to what I'm in. Carbash, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate that. Tell ABB to sort the instruction manuals out. I've never used an ABB PLC, to be fair. I use a lot of ABB circuit breakers and that sort of thing. So because I design control, well, I say because I'm a designer of control generator control systems, power generation, that sort of thing, but also LV switchgear, and a lot of the ACBs and MCCBs that we use are ABB. Yo man, just getting in PLC. I'm an electrician. Any tips? I have got a load of tips. I did a video probably about a week ago about all the stuff I would suggest if you're wanting to get into PLCs, like a low-cost solution. Get some books. Look on YouTube. I did say a couple of YouTube channels on that video. Download CodeSys. What else did I can't remember off the top of my head what I said in the video. But yeah, have a watch that video. It'll probably help you, mate. I work in Marine. Never seen Mitsubishi in 15 years. Yeah, it definitely was a lot more popular back in the day than it is now. But it's so good. I don't know why. Ryan, thank you for the follow, mate. ABB are a disaster. I work in switchgear. It's always chaos. Yeah, we've had some disasters with ABB. With drawable ACBs, you can have a lock on them to basically prevent you from pulling the ACB out, wrecking it out. We've had a nightmare with those locks. Oh, you're just on about the manuals. Oh, okay, fair enough. Complexas, thank you for following, mate. Really appreciate it. Let me get back to this then. So, yeah, I was running through what we've done. So we've got the manual mode, and I was explaining the push buttons, the start and stop, and the latch, the hold-in. We also put in a always-on mode. So if I put this into make the connection between terminals 1 and 3 on this switch, like that, K3 energizes, and basically the motor is always running. This is an always-on mode. And it will run like that indefinitely. So it's probably not a mode in real life that you'd ever want to leave it in, unless the motor was just to continuously run. You would normally have, like, you know, some form of sensors in for automatic starting and stopping, but I didn't want to make it too crazy. And then the final position. Oh, so, well, let me just explain quickly the always on. So we've got the K3 relay down here, and basically that's just in parallel to all the start, stop, and everything. It's just basically putting a supply straight onto the contactor coil. Won't this skill and knowledge that you've earned to learn get lost to AI? I personally don't think so. I've said this a few times. I think AI is going to turn out to be a tool that we can all use to make ourselves more efficient, to make ourselves better engineers and that sort of thing. I don't think it's going to totally replace me, because, to be honest, my customers don't even know what they want. They're changing their mind every 5 minutes. I can't imagine an AI is going to know what the customer wants. You need a human to interpret that, because they change their mind all the time. I think there will be job losses across every sector, you know, every industry, not just ours, you know, controls and electrical automation, that sort of thing. And I think those job losses will just be due to the fact that less people can do more. That's what I think, yeah. AI gets it wrong all the time. It does, but you got to think, AI, right this second, right now, you type something to ChatGPT, today is the worst it's ever going to be, because tomorrow it will be better, and the day after it will be better. So while you think it's not great now, every day it is getting better. Every day it's learning. And eventually it will get to the point where it's not really getting stuff wrong at all. But like I was saying, with the customer side of things and that, you know, unless a robot's going to go and do a site survey, figure out what the customer needs, figure out what needs replacing or repairing, it's not gonna take my job anytime soon. It's good for manuals. AI is pretty good. I like ChatGPT. It's not something to be relied upon. You kind of need to know what you're talking about and just get directions from it, rather than just have it try and do work for you, because it's convincing in its wrong answers. Very convincing. I'm a senior electrical design engineer currently designing data centers. Nice, David. That's really top stuff there, mate. Data centers is probably there, because I do a lot. I wouldn't say I do a lot. I do some work in data centers, and the spec on data center work is crazy, and the documentation stuff involved is wild. What's your least favorite electrical question? Equation. Sorry, equation. Least favorite. I don't have a least favorite. Probably the longer ones that I don't remember. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have one. I don't have a favorite one either, to be fair. Snarky Man, good evening, mate. How are you? How are you doing tonight? I don't know. Yeah, I haven't got an answer to that question. What's yours? I'm sure if you've asked the question, you probably have one in mind. Any site or channel to learn about PLC design or how they work in general? I've got a shed ton of videos on my TikTok, but as well as that, YouTube. YouTube's always the best place to have a look. Where in the UK are you from? North Yorkshire, mate. North Yorkshire, yeah. Bulldog, thank you for the follow, really appreciate it. Stephen Shorten, thank you for the follow, really appreciate it. KFC, thank you for the follow as well. And Tobogo, I'm going to just stop there. Thank you for the follow, mate. Really appreciate it. 81 people. This live's going crazy tonight. Not a fan of inductors, but Kirchhoff's is on top. See, the thing is that I did Kirchhoff's and stuff at college and uni that long ago. I don't remember it. I don't use it. It's not something I use in everyday work, so it's already gone from my brain. Is there a list of design rules to follow when designing control circuits? There is. The standards. You got to follow standards. Which standards come to mind? 60. I never remember the numbers. 60204, I think. That's the one for rotating machinery, I think. 61439 is one we use for switchgear and stuff and control panels. So have a look at them standards. They're BSEN standards, I think. I don't know about the international standards, to be honest. Cush Nation, thank you for the follow, mate. It should go crazy. Such a topic and role. I mean, I don't think I ever expected anything like this. I thought something like this would be mad boring, so there wouldn't be anyone really coming on. But since I started doing TikTok, yeah, I've had some pretty good success, so I'm quite happy with that. Obviously, there's a lot more boring people in the world, just as well as me. Do you use software then to calculate everything? No, I just don't need to use Kirchhoff's. I do control systems for the power side of stuff. We have other calculations. Kirchhoff's is, I don't know, I've never found a use for it, to be fair. Machinery regs as well. Probably, mate, I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head. 602, I get confused between them. 60402, I can't. I tell you what, hang on. Let me pull it up. 60204 is it's in my head, but I don't think that's right. Yeah, 60204. That's one of them, and 61439 is what else I've got in my head. 61439. Yeah, low voltage switchgear and control gear. Yeah, they're the two main ones that I adhere to, really. Yeah, Ash, you know it. 60204, the Bible. Yeah. I don't know what's up with my brain. I just don't remember these numbers. Yeah, thank you to everyone who's liking, sharing, all that stuff, following. I'm a master's HVAC technician. Why specialize in control and automation? Why? You asking me why I specialized in it? Or you're saying you specialize in it? I recognize your name, Professor Butler. You do a lot of videos on TikTok, don't you? You do some good stuff. Fine. I'm not going to pronounce your name. Fine. Thank you for following, mate. What's the hardest, most complex system you had to design? I would say it's one I did 2 years ago for a local hospital. On that one, there was I did all the controls for the HV system on that site, and I did all the controls for the LV changeovers, and I think there was 2 MV generators and there was 1 LV generator. In total, I think that ended up being 19 or 20 panels, maybe even more. That was pretty complex. I enjoyed that one because it was local. I was always up there as well. Professor Butler, thank you for the follow, mate. I mean, I specialize mistype. Yes, I know who you are. I've watched a load of your videos. It's you do some good stuff. I wish I could do more content like you, because you're obviously out on site on the machines that you're working on, doing the videos. I can't really do that because I'm not, I don't own my own company or anything. I'm employed, and I don't really think they'd be that happy with me going out to sites, pulling out my phone and recording stuff. Did you do anything in the wastewater sectors? We do, yeah. Well, because I work in power generation, most pumping stations have like a backup generator and stuff like that. So we're often going in, replacing old gear. We don't supply the generators themselves. We do the controls and the LV switchgear. Bro, how have I just found you? Just had lessons about it today. I appreciate that, Sub-Zero. I hope they went well, mate. Bracken, thank you for the follow. 7 Trent, possibly. Possibly. What's the most recent one I've done? We've done a few up in Scotland. The thing is, we don't work direct, so I don't really know what sites they are. We normally, the water companies hire a generator company, and the generator company come to us. Is it TNC? This stuff here, mate. No. This is just controls. There's no, like, TNC. That's a type of earthing system arrangement on a house and that sort of thing, isn't it? Or wiring system. But doing like you're doing now, there is an audience for videos like this. Make what you can. That's it, mate. That is it. I do the best I can with what I can do. Yeah. That will be fun to commission. A0 drawing with the cause and effect ticking off each part change. Yeah, there was. I think we were on site for maybe 2 months on that one. It was a long time. Yeah, it was a big project. I was on it for over a year. You were studying today, Siemens PLC control. Nice. Yeah, yes, your PLC day today. Well, I'm not doing any PLCs at the minute. I'm just talking about controls, showing off this software, just to make everyone aware of it, really. It's a really good tool to help you design basic control circuits, really. And I won't even say basic. I've done some pretty complex stuff in this. So you design it all, and then you've got all these parts. You're just dragging and dropping, putting it all together, and then you press the play button up at the top, and you can make it work. So a lot of you guys probably wasn't here when I went through it earlier, so I'll just go through it one more time. I've got a selector switch. I'm just doing basic motor control, nothing crazy. Let's put the fuse switch in. I've got a selector switch here, K2, and in this position is manual mode, so I can use the start and the stop buttons. And I've got a latch holding it in. Put into the next position. This is the always on position, so regardless of whatever happens with the switches, the motor runs. Hopefully you can see that all right. Yeah, excuse me. And then we have this was just a kind of made up one. This was a flashing position where basically the motor goes on and off every 2 seconds. What's the software? It's called Simu Relay. You can download it for free off the Microsoft Store, so SIMU Relay. Math05, thank you for follow, mate. Really appreciate that. John Atakpa, I think, shared the live. Thank you so much for that. Kel Ghetto, thank you for the follow as well. Really appreciate this, guys, and Dominic as well. Thank you. Yeah, so you just basically make little circuits up, and you've got single phase, 3 phase. You can do some pretty wild stuff. It's really good for just testing out, if you're like me, a design engineer, you want to make sure that the stuff you're putting together works before you go to build it, because it could be a 2-minute change for you in the office on AutoCAD to change that, whereas it might be 10 minutes to change it in the factory on the panel, and it might be an hour to fix it out on site or more. So getting the errors out of the way early is the best way to go, 100%. So use tools like this where I can to basically just help with that. Simu Relay, Katie has pinned it in the Katie's pinned the comment. Just pin it again, please, Katie. Can you have airflow sensor that detects non-running fan and swaps to a standby in the software? I don't know what sensors it's got, to be fair, mate, but if it hasn't got airflow, you can probably just use a switch and just pretend it's an airflow and you just manually actuate it. You can definitely do like duty standby pumps. I did a video on it probably about a year ago. It's probably so far away it's not worth looking for now. But I did some duty standby pumps and the assist type pumps where you've got 2 pumps, one runs all the time and the other one just comes in to assist where necessary, to clear out a tank or whatever, or to help fill it. Right, I think I'm caught up. Sadiq, thank you for following, mate. Really appreciate that. Yeah, so I don't really think there's much else to add on this. We could maybe make it a 3-phase motor instead of a single phase, but there's not really much reason to do that. There's not that much difference. Ronnie BE, thank you for follow, mate. What's the biggest mess up you've made? I guess that's what I was meant to say. That you want to admit. What can I think of? There's the biggest mess up I've made is one that we only found out about in recent times. It was one I made maybe 3 years ago, but we only found out of it now. And And that was just due to basically a failure in checking the parts that we ordered. We fit a load of 12-volt relays where they should have been 24-volt. They lasted like 4 years before they melted. They worked well. I was surprised they lasted as long. Maybe 3 years. Yeah, that was a bit of a nightmare. And it was, it wasn't design error. It was just that I'd done the part schedule. It was all right. It's just when it came to order, we just ordered the wrong ones, and we fit the wrong ones, and it got through test. There was probably multiple failures in there. It wasn't just me, but yeah, that was the worst one I've had. Didn't cause any damage. There was no fire or anything. It was just they found it, and it was like, yeah, these relays are melted. I'll download it in the morning, have a mess around. Nice one, thank you. No problem, Danny, mate. Hope you're alright. I think we've got up. Right. B Square, thank you to follow. Paulie, thank you to follow. What else can we add? Just to give a bit more to what we've got. Just maybe show off the software a little bit more. Show you some stuff you can do. There's some float switches here. I think they're still manually actuated. If I was just to put that in, I'll have to delete that out. It's just clicking. To make connections, you get these little squares. Hopefully you can see that. I click once, I click again, it makes the connection. Adrian Shannon, thank you for the follow, mate. Forward and reverse, I could do that. I'll probably have to start again, though, to do that, because all this mess doesn't need to be there. Yeah, just let me see what I don't remember off the top of my head, or if I've ever used them. Yeah, the manual actuator, so there's no like automation behind these. They're no different to a switch for these float switches. What else we got? I'll tell you what I can do. Yeah, let's start again. What's the easiest way to start again? Can I just do new? New. Save changes. No, don't want to save them. Right, let's go for a new page. Auto hand switch. Well, that was basically what I just had there. I didn't put the auto part in, but there was a bit of manual there. Standby and duty would be another option. Having that PLC output is 24-volt signals, which is method used to control AC contactors. Not sure if I missed half of that there. Don't know what you're saying there. Sorry, mate. Does the software have VFDs? It doesn't. No, it's all direct online, star delta. It's basically just contactors and relays, really. There's nothing clever about it. It has the motors, but it doesn't. Has overloads and stuff, but it doesn't have anything clever like VFDs or soft starts or anything like that. Let's go. I'm not going to do 3-phase because it takes up screen space when it doesn't need to. There's not a great. Yeah, I guess if we're doing. Yeah, let's do duty and standby. Right, so let's put our AC section together, put some text up there just so we know. This is our AC section. And then over here, hopefully you can see that all right, yeah. I'll put in just a battery again. It just simplifies it, makes it easier. It could be an AC to DC power supply, but just showing the battery makes it easier to show. Let's bring in some relays, and we're gonna do. What did it say we're gonna do? Duty standby, was it? Friday evening fun, is it? I mean, yeah, I guess a lot of people find this fun. I enjoy this sort of stuff. We're obviously all boring bastards. Which PLC do you use more in country? I think Siemens is the king around here. I don't use Siemens as much, but yeah, in Europe it's all Siemens. There is a lot of Allen Bradley as well, but not as much as like America. With AutoCAD, you have to purchase plugins for control circuits. I use AutoCAD Electrical, which is like a subset of AutoCAD. It is like an official subset. It's not a plugin or anything. Well, like a third-party one. Yeah, so that's what I use. I think you do have to pay more. I'm not entirely sure how it all works. Like I say, I'm employed by a company. They handle it all. I just use it. Right, Right, I'm forgetting. Right, I need to stop looking at comments. Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm getting distracted. Duty and standby. That's what we said we're going to do. So let's go for... just need to find the parts now. Like I say, I've not used this in a while. I guess we don't need a selector switch. Let's go for manual, and we'll start building it from there. Right, we want a push button. I'm gone blind. Push button. There we go. So we'll start basic. There's our start, where we need a normally closed one. Don't even know why I connected it up. There we go. Start and stop. K1 needs a contact of itself just to latch it in. So, well, just to show you, I was on about this earlier. If I don't put the latch in, I can energize the relay K1, but the minute I let go, it de-energizes, which is no good. You don't want to be stood holding the button forever and a day, you know. So what we do is we put in a parallel contact of the relay itself. So K1, K1. Press play now. It holds itself in, and then I use S2 to stop. Start and stop. That's it. Any scope for working for yourself? Nah. To be fair, I've got too many bills, too many children. I've got a family. I wouldn't risk it now. No, I feel like if you want to go off on your own, you've got to be either braver than me or have less bills than me. What program is this? It's pinned in the comments. Are these like DALI systems? I'm not sure, mate. I don't know what a DALI system is. Sakis Kuman, thank you for the follow, mate. Does inch jog just break that hold? Are you on about like a VFD, or you just mean like an inch jog button? Does it do OGS contacts? Yeah, it does. Yeah. Anyway, I'm getting bogged down again. You've still got to expand your knowledge and have a look at Loytech PLC range. They are nice. I've never heard of them, mate, to be fair. Oh, DALI. No, it's not like DALI at all. Someone was on about that last night. The lighting type stuff. I've never used it, so I'm not sure, to be fair. Can you put a PLC module in there? No, you can't, mate. It's just relay contacts and timers and that sort of thing. Right, anyway. I'm getting bogged down. Sorry, I'm trying to build something and I keep getting caught up in the comments. Right, so we've got our just start stop. So it's not really any different to what we were doing before at the moment. And we have a duty standby. So we need let's put our motors in. Let's build up slowly, which we haven't done yet. That's over here. Some protection, some fuses or something, and we'll put some fuse switches in. In fact, we put fuses in last time. Let's put some circuit breakers in. There's somewhere there is some motor starter circuit breakers. I think it's those ones. Motor breakers. There we go. So that's got the overload built in, so we don't need to worry about the overload if we use these. So the ways you can protect a motor, or the way of doing sort of providing a supply to a motor, you can either have a circuit breaker, contactor, and overload, which requires 3 parts, or you can do a motor starter, manual motor starter, or motor circuit breaker, and contactor, and that's only 2 parts. So it's technically more efficient, you know, space wise in your panel and stuff, to do it the motor circuit breaker route with just a contactor. Snubber or freewheel diode needed. You wouldn't put a diode on an AC motor. On a DC motor possibly. Well, not if you wanted to reverse it anyway. Yeah, simmer relay. For anyone who's asking, simmer relay. Katie, just keep it pinned. Just keep pinning it, because everyone just keeps asking. Okay, Benny, thank you for the follow, mate. moving on. So I've got the manual motor starter in. I just need my contactor now, which is here, this one here. And that's all we really need for protecting that motor. So KM1's going to be our duty motor, and we're going to do the same thing again for M2. You see it has in blue here. I know it says M1, but it just means it's a single phase motor. This is the tag, so it's M1, M2. M2 is going to be our standby. Fertech, thank you for following, mate. Really appreciate that. We'll give this one its own motor starter circuit breaker. Forgot where they are. I might have lost it. Ah, down here. Sorry, my apologies. Down here. I'll bring that in. Let's take that there. Take that there. Pull them off each other. So sometimes the wires will go over each other. It's a bit annoying. I don't know why it does that, but it does. Anyway, you can pull them apart. So there's basically our two motors. Let's put some text on. And we'll call this duty. And let's do another one and call it standby. Sorry guys, you can't see. I'm not being careful with what I'm showing. Standby. Standby, if I can spell. Standby. There we go. So, just so you can all see that. I've missed out on a few comments. I do apologise. What laptop would be good for this kind of work? What, for design are you talking about? Anything that can run AutoCAD or something similar. A lot of guys who build control panels now, so we still use AutoCAD Electrical, but a lot of people I see on like LinkedIn and that, they use ePlan. That seems to be the new one on the block. I know Ash, who I think might still be in here. I think you use that, is that right, Ash? How can I download the software? It's on the Microsoft Store, just so you know. It's called SimiRelay. Can you simulate with this? You can. You press play and you can simulate. And once we get a bit more into the control circuit, I'll be able to show you that. Can you help me with a project? It depends how easy the project is and how much help you want, I guess. I'm always happy to reply in DMs and stuff if you want. Yes, ePlan user. I mean, I hear it's really good. I've not used it. It's a new kid on the block, and everyone seems to be going that route, so it can't be that bad. Could be worse. Mechanical engineers like to break the lines if they cross a line. It's on Google Play too. Yeah, so you can get it on your phone as well. I keep missing that part. Is this basically multi-sim? Not quite. No, I think multi-sim. You can get like. I've not used multi-sim for a good few years, but I seem to remember that was more electronics based, and you could get like, I don't know, 555 timers and stuff like that in there. This is more just relay based. Dominic, thank you for sharing the live, mate. Really appreciate that. Mike Cummins, thank you for follow. Have I missed anyone else? I think I'm caught up. Okay. So, yeah. Duty, standby. There's the... Oh, shit. I apologise. Right, there's the AC side done. We can kind of forget about that for now. We don't really need to do anything else on that. So I've put my manual start in. I'll leave it like that for now. I'm sort of, as I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking I probably don't even need this, but I'm doing this on the fly, so we'll just go for it. And do we want an auto? The thing is, we kind of just need what we had a minute ago, and I've just deleted it all. We'll do it again. It doesn't matter. A lot of people who weren't here for the building of the circuit in the beginning can, you know, see it now. We want to select a switch. Off, manual, auto. That's what we'll go for. Off, I'll just leave disconnected this time, and manual will basically delete that off there. Pull that down, pull that down, pull that down, and pull that down. And there's our manual, if that's gone on alright. Kind of in the way. It's all a bit messy. Let me see if I can fix this a little bit. Half of the battle that I find in design is making it legible so someone can wire to it. Because I don't wire the panels myself, I just design them. Then I send the drawings to the shop floor and they build from it. And if you haven't done a good job in your drawings, you are going to get a lot of either people at your desk or phone calls or whatever saying, come and sort this out, come and sort that out. Is AutoCAD Electrical any good? I like it, I think it's good. But then again, I haven't really used much else. I started off on just generic, you know, the normal AutoCAD. I don't know what you'd call it. And then I went on to AutoCAD Electrical and I found, yeah, it's really good. I like it. But I hear that ePlan's really good too. So, yeah. Sir XO. I've got to be funny with names cause after last night. Thank you for the follow, mate. There is this type of software and then there is panel wiring with full referencing. Yeah, I mean, this isn't. I would, yeah, you can't. I don't think. Maybe you can use it for wiring. I don't know, but it's not. It's not the same. AutoCAD's a professional tool. This isn't. Can you sim on AutoCAD? No, you. Not as far as I'm aware. Maybe with some sort of plugin, maybe, but not as far as I'm aware. No. That's why I use this. To be fair, so if I'm putting little control circuits together, I'll use this just to verify before I send the drawings out to the shop floor. What do you think about ASI and what's your experience with it? I've not really used it, to be fair, mate. No, I haven't really used it very much at all. I seem to think, from what I know of it, it's used quite a lot in manufacturing. Have you tried Logisim? I feel like I have. I recognise the name, but it's not coming to mind. Handy tool for teaching. Yeah. I mean, I made some videos with this stuff ages ago. Probably about a year ago, and the videos did all right. Yeah, it's visual, isn't it? And TikTok's a visual place, so they went down pretty well. Any good resources for designing a PLC panel using AutoCAD Electrical? You'd have to check YouTube, to be fair, mate. I don't know. I learnt on the job myself personally. My professor have built a microprocessor in Logisim. That's impressive stuff, mate. Yeah, I can't imagine that's easy at all. Sicky, I don't know. I'm sorry, I probably butchered your name. Thank you for the follow. I'm just gonna call you Dosty because I can't pronounce the first part. Thank you for sharing the live. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna call you Ramirez because that's what it says on the end. Thank you for the follow. I'm really sorry. I'll probably butcher your name if I try and say it. Anyway, moving on. So we've got our manual. Let's put our auto in. Once we've done that, then we can basically give the command to the pump, the duty pump or duty motor, whatever we're calling it, to run. And if that motor was to fail, we can then start the standby. That's the plan that's going through my head at the minute anyway. So let's put the auto in, and using auto, what's the best way to do that? Because at the end of the day, it's all still manual because I'm still clicking buttons. I haven't got like a float level. Yeah, we'll put floats in. We'll just pretend it's automatic, okay? Because you know, there's no system behind this. I've not got sensors or anything. But we'll put in some float switches. Yeah, we'll just have to use imagination. Right. Hopefully you can all see that. All right. Yep. So let's call this see, I'm in my head I'm thinking low fuel level just because that's what I'm used to. Let's call it low tank level. Does that make sense? I'm missing loads of comments. I'm sorry. And if I keep reading the comments, I'm not doing this. So talk amongst yourselves and I'll just, you know, have a look over and pick comments as and when I see them. So float switch, and let's say that the float switches are make on rise. Should we say that? So we've got a low, and a low. I wish I'd have planned it more anyway. Normally I wouldn't rush this, but I'm kind of rushing it now. Low. Thank you for all the follows. Thank you to everyone who's liked. 26k likes, that's pretty crazy. Thank you. 95 follows this stream, that's mad. Thank you, everyone. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who's shared, anyone who's gifted. So let's just say we've got 2 make-on rises. So if the level was in the middle, we don't need the pump on. If the level drops, we need the pump on. That's not going to work. We need them in parallel. Where's my delete button? So if either of the low or the low go, we want to start the pump. We want to stop the pump if the fuel level reaches high or high. That's how it's normally done, at least in the industry I work in. There's normally 4 switches. There's a low switch, a low switch, a high switch, and a high switch. The low and the high do the control, and the low and the high are like alarms and sort of shutdowns. I'm not going to bother putting shutdowns in and all that stuff. We don't have to go that hard with it. Right, so I've got 2 contacts in parallel, and if I do 2 normally closed in series, then that's my automatic system as far as I'm concerned. These are floats, aren't they? No, they're not even floats, sorry. Putting like e-stops in or something. They're floats, there we go. Thank you to everyone who's following, really appreciate that. It's going crazy. Wow, it really is going crazy. Thank you to everyone who's liking, sharing, following, all that stuff. Right, so okay, there's my 2 highs. High and high. I'm gonna have to drag that down now. Can you all see that all right? I'm not keeping things centered. It's a struggle. Let's go for another relay. Right, so this is our sort of pump run relay. This has evolved into pumps now. I know we were talking about motors, but in my head, this is how I'm working it. What is the name of software? Katie will pin it in a second. Right, so let's just run that. Let's just go through what I'm imagining in my head. Just let's do it visually so you can kind of get on what I'm talking about. So we've got an off position. This is our selector switch. It's a 3-position selector switch. We've got off, we've got manual, and we've got auto. And my hand's not even in the camera view. Off, manual, auto. At the moment, it's in off. Off does nothing, absolutely nothing. If I select that, put it into manual, nothing still happens. But that's because we need to press the start button. So we press the start button, it energizes the relay, it latches itself in with this K1 here. So K1 is the relay, it latches itself in. Right, okay, so we've got start. Can I stop it? I can stop it. We're all good. We've got start and stop. That's manual control. So automatic control, just before we get into this, I'll probably have to set them. So what I'm thinking is we've got a tank. It's got half the amount of liquid in it. It's in the middle. You know, it's right in the middle. That's a healthy state. We just want to maintain it between 2 different positions. And thank you to everyone who's liking, following, and sharing. It's crazy. Thank you. I really appreciate it. So yeah, we've got this half full tank, and both of the 2 switches, we've got a low and a low. We've got a high and a high. The low and the low, they make on rise. So as the water level comes up, they close, or fuel level, fluid level, whatever we want to call it. The tank rises, those 2 contacts close. So that's why we're closing them too. These ones, I guess, can be make on rise as well. No, make on full. That's what they are. Yeah, they're make on full. So if the it's hard. I wish I had my whiteboard here to draw it out for you. Use your imagination. We've got this tank. It's half full. And if the fluid level was to go up and up and up and up, it would hit the high level, which would open S6. That should shut off the pump, but that's not always the case. Sometimes it might get stuck on, the float might be, knackered or whatever, and it will keep rising. and then that's when it should hit high, and high should definitely cut everything off. Normally you would have high, you know, alarms and all sorts. Could do a low level, intermediate level, and high level. Please explain about ABS light. I'm not entirely sure what you're talking about there, mate. I just want to say thank you to everyone who followed there and liked and everything else that went crazy. If you're asking about the software, it's pinned. You'll see that. Right, okay, so that's my thought process on it all. So now I just need to make it so it controls the pump. And we're just getting the duty pump running for now. The standby part should be relatively easy, I'm thinking. Right, okay, so there's the control circuit for manual and auto. We don't need to worry about that anymore. We've got that in the bag. I need to come out of simulation mode and just go back into design mode, I guess it's called. Right, so next we want to add in the K1 or K2. If either of them go on, we want the duty pump to run, which is easy enough. It just should be 2 contacts in parallel. So let's add our contactor coil, which won't be K3, it will be KM1, I think we called it. Yeah, KM1. I don't know if you've seen that there. We've got an AC section, a DC section if you're just joining. Yeah. HOA switch. That's pretty much what I've got. I've got the off mode, the hand mode, the auto mode. Yeah. That's what we've built. So let me just change this value to KM1. No, it's gone to 3 for whatever reason. We want KM1. KM1, that's right, okay. So that's our contactor coil, and what starts this coil is the 2 contacts from these 2 relays. Appreciate everyone following, sharing, liking, and all that stuff. I'm just trying to concentrate at the minute because it will just be sat here forever if I read comments. It's typically what happens, and then we get nothing done, and it ends up being a boring stream. So I'm just trying to keep ploughing on. I apologise if you're asking questions and stuff. If you're asking about the software, Katie will keep pinning it. Hopefully, I think she is still doing it. Yeah, thanks, Kate. Right, okay. K2. So there's the relay for K1. There's the contact. There's the relay coil. I should call it coil. There's the coil for K1. There's the contact. There's the coil for K2. There's the contact. They both want to be in parallel, and they want to run that motor. So we're still building up. We're still not at the duty standby part yet, but we should have a running pump now. They're a bit far away from each other. I don't know how well you can all see that. Hopefully you can see that okay. So we're in off mode. I'll switch it into manual mode. I press the start button. We should get a start. We don't, because I'm an idiot and I didn't close up the motor starter circuit breakers over here. So that in the AC side, you need to close up the protection, of course. Right, okay, we'll try again. Excuse me. Press the start button, the pump comes on. Press the stop button, the pump goes off. Right, good. Manual works okay. Let's go into our auto. And what I should have done beforehand is closed up those float switches. Although that being said, in my mind, those float switches would have been closed when the pump didn't need to be on. So they probably wanted to actually be normally closed. Anyway, we'll just move past that. I don't want to redo it at this point. We're just going to roll with it. Let me turn both of them off. So let me think about this. What I wanted those two to be... Oh, excuse me. I hope that didn't blow your eardrums off. I nearly knocked my microphone over. What I wanted this to do was, when them two were closed, the liquid was in the middle of the tank. I think that's what I was saying, didn't I? If you're asking about the app, it's in the pin comment down there or whatever. Yeah, I'm rushing. I'm not really thinking about it. I wouldn't do this normally. I'd normally sit there and mull it over a little bit. And I don't do it often enough to just know it off the top of my head. Plus, it's 10:30. I'm getting tired. They definitely want to be that. The low. Thank you to anyone who's following. Thank you for sharing and all that good stuff. We still maintained 66 viewers. That's crazy. I'm trying to get it right in my head because we're just kind of imagining this scene at the minute. They definitely want to... Right, let me put it in run. Let me put it in auto. If either of them make... Okay, so what I've done instead of... I think I originally said make on rise. I can't remember. But what it is make on fall at the minute. So make on fall. So if the liquid level halfway in the tank starts to drop, it's dropping, it will then make that float switch, that low level float switch, and start the pump. We got another one of them things from last night. I'm gonna read it first and try and deep what you're saying here before I shout it out like I did last night. Bobgenic. I mean, I'm not seeing it. Am I just being dumb? Bob. Yeah, I'm not sure. I can't figure it out. Yeah. Last night we had someone in saying, "Can you shout out to Dixon MYAS, Dixon my ass?" And I just shouted it out. I didn't even think about it. It didn't make any sense to me. And my missus was just absolutely howling, and then it set me off. So I'm on the lookout for him now, because I got done last night. Right. Anyway, let me go back to this. I just want to get this finished up, and then I'll go and start chatting and talking stuff. So yeah, that fuel level or liquid level, whatever, starts to come down. It starts to pump. The pump comes on when I turn on the bloody circuit breakers again. The pump's running. The tank starts filling. It starts filling. Actually, I should have a latch in there for S4, and so let me put a latch in. Let me just make it right, because the minute this S4 closes and the pump comes on, the level starts to rise again, and this S4 would open again. So you have to latch it in, and I'd missed that out. So let me just do that. Tidy it up a little bit. Right, turn them on, put it back into automatic. Liquid level drops, S4 comes on, S4 immediately goes. Oh, fuck's sake. We'll get there, we will get there. I do apologise. I did set to K1 instead of K2. Put it into auto, S4, blah, blah, blah. Right, we're where we are now. So the pump, when I turn the power on, is running. Let's zoom out again. Hopefully you can all see that. Yeah. So the pump's now running. The tank's filling up. And it's filling up and it's filling up. And eventually it hits the high level, which is S6. I'm just trying to make it so you can all see it. I click S6, pump goes off. Right, we've got a working system now. And it doesn't come back on. You know, the process starts going through whatever it is. In my case, this would be a fuel tank, and the generator would pull the fuel out of the tank, and we just need to keep topping it up. Okay, so, and in the case of the low and the high switches not working right, you've always got your backup of your low and your high to switch off the pump or switch on the pump. I'll get to the comments in a minute, I promise. What we were doing was a duty standby. We haven't quite got the standby working just yet. We're going to add that next. So let's go for that. We've got a working duty pump now, though. We're just doing it in baby steps. So if the duty pump was to fail due to an overload, now I've used the motor circuit breakers in this. I'm not sure if there's a contact in this software for the motor circuit breakers. There definitely is for the standalone overload. We'll just have to see. Because do we just change that now? Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it out now. I thought I was being clever by using the motor circuit breaker. Let's just make it simple. Let's bin them two off. We'll go for a standard set of fuses, and we won't even make it a fuse switch, because then that way I don't have to forget to turn them on. Set of fuses, then we have our contactor. We'll bin that off. Hopefully you can all see this all right. And we'll chuck in an overload, which is there. Let's do it this way, just because I know that I can get access to the F2 contact, which I can use in the control circuit to start the standby pump. That's what I'm doing now. Whereas I'm not entirely sure, excuse me, I'm not entirely sure if you can get access to a contact for the motor starter circuit breaker. The manual motor starter is what I call it. Let's put another set of fuses in for the standby. Arguably, they can both use the same set of fuses because they would never run at the same time. You would probably maybe even mechanically and electrically interlock these two contactors. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. Certainly not tonight. Thank you to everyone who's still following, still liking, still sharing. We're up to 32,000 likes, which is wild. Thank you, I really appreciate it. I'm just trying to get this done and then I'll get to the comments. Right, okay, so we've got an F2 and an F4. That's what I need to know. So that's my pump 1 command. And all I really need to do now to get the standby to run, oh, my mistake, is come off this point here, tap off here through my overload contact into KM2's coil, I believe. That's what I'm going for anyway. We're gonna run with it. I'm just like making this up on the fly. I'm not I've not planned this or nothing. So we'll do that because I think that's gonna work, and if it doesn't, we'll work from there. So I need a contact, and we're just gonna tap off this point here. It looks a bit messy, but whatever. It'll do for now. Hopefully you're all following along. I bet the guy who actually asked me to do this is no longer even here, and I've been doing it about an hour. Let's go for a relay, and we're going to change that to actually a contactor, and we want it to be KM2. I think that was right. Yeah, and we're going to change this contact, and that wants to be F2. So that's an auxiliary contact of the motor overload. F, where is F? Oh, there was actually Q. I think that would have been the motor circuit breaker. Anyway, we are where we are now. So, thank you to everyone following. Thank you to everyone sharing and all that. Oh, you're still here, David. Oh, that's good. I'm glad then, because it's not. I don't feel like it's a waste of time then. Good. So, right, we can run it now. I feel like it should work, and if it doesn't, you can all laugh at me. Right, manual. Start and stop still work. You can see that. You can't see the motor. Let me just zoom out. In fact, before we get started, I know I'll keep chopping and changing. Let me just make them closer so you can see it a bit bigger. Let me just pull it all closer. They are still separate circuits. I'm not joining anything. AC and DC are still totally separate. I just want to make it closer so you guys can see better, because then I won't have to zoom out as far. Duty, standby, AC section. I must never have wrote DC section. Let me just add that, just for completeness. We're nearly there now. We're nearly there, I promise. DC section. Right, press play. We should be good to go now. What can you guys see? Let me have a look. I feel like you can all see that well. Let me know if you can see that well, and we won't zoom in anymore. We won't move around anymore. Mansa Musa. I'm afraid I don't speak any language other than English, unfortunately. I wish I did, but I don't. Yeah, the program is called Relay. You can find it on Katie's pinned it there. You can find it on Microsoft Store, Play Store. You can get it on your phone or computer. Right, I'm just gonna assume everyone can see this. No one's answered me, but I'll assume you can see this. We'll go into automatic. We'll close up our 2 lows again. Did we do that? No, we didn't. Never mind. If I want to start it, the low level switch has to be activated. The pump starts running, starts filling the tank. The low level switch would then undo because the liquid level is rising again. If at some point in time that pump overloaded, it couldn't run anymore, the overload would trigger. And if the overload triggers, then at that point, should I have put a normally closed in there? Possibly. I probably, in fact, I should have probably put, yeah, maybe I should have put a normally closed in there, off F2 as well. Anyway, F2, the overload for that pump, the duty pump, tripped out. An auxiliary contact then brought in KM2, which is the contactor for the standby. If I was to put F2 back off again, I think it would just change back over. Yeah, it does. That's good. There we go. There's a duty standby system. There's definitely better ways of doing this, and I'd think about it a lot more if I was doing a duty standby pump panel. There's definitely some stuff you could add. Obviously, I've got no alarms or nothing like that. I've tried to keep it as simple as possible. But yeah, hopefully that helped. I don't fancy doing anything that big again, so if you've got something small, I'll happily try that. But I'm just trying to think of it on the fly. It's not easy, especially if you don't do them every day, which I don't, to be fair. I've done plenty, but I don't do them that often. I mean, I've probably missed a shit ton of followers. I do apologise. Thank you to everyone who's followed. Thank you to everyone who's shared, liked, all that good stuff. Really, really appreciate it. No problem. Yeah. Hope you enjoyed it. I've been going nearly 2 hours. I'll stay on for another 10-15 minutes. I think we'll just talk shop, talk controls. Any questions you got, just ask me. And we'll call it a night there. I might be on tomorrow again. We'll see how we get on. I've got some stuff to do. Got lots of painting to do. I'm painting my house at the minute. I've been painting for months, to be fair. It's fucking never ending. Yeah. Has anyone tried the software yet? Throughout the stream or anything like that? Has anyone gave it a go? It's pretty good. I'd recommend trying it. It doesn't cost a penny. It only costs if you want timers. I think I mentioned that earlier on. You don't get any of the timers. I think that's it. I think you get everything else. And it's good for just checking stuff, really. That's what I use it for. I just whenever I'm doing like hardwired controls, and it's maybe something I haven't done for a while or something I just check. It doesn't take long to put a circuit together. You put it in play, check it works, and then you're happy. You can send your drawings out to the shop floor knowing if there is an issue, it's not really going to be hardwired, or at least not design related, or maybe something you haven't quite foreseen. Because, like I say, with these floats, I'm kind of doing it from my head. I haven't, the software doesn't have a tank that I can fill and empty. You kind of have to know the process to be able to click these in the right order and that sort of thing. It's not KeyCAD, no, mate. It's Simu Relay. It's called. It's Microsoft Store, Play Store, all that stuff. App Store. I think Apple Store. I don't know. I don't have an iPhone. Where can I get little projects to try out with the software? I don't know, to be fair, mate. I don't know if it has any examples or anything like that. Maybe have a Google search on the internet, see if anyone's put some together that you can possibly, try and put together yourself. Most of the stuff I do are just, I'm doing it exactly how I did it just then. I'm making it up off the top of my head, see if it'll work. If it doesn't, I'll fix it. Yeah. Electrical engineer could use it to practice reading drawings. Was that from last week? There was a guy who came in and said there was an electrical engineer, but they didn't know how to read drawings. I was like, how does that work then? yeah. I was, I didn't want to be harsh with that because I don't know. Maybe he didn't mean that or something. Maybe it wasn't his first language or what. But yeah, someone explained that one to me. How can you be an electrical engineer but not read drawings? I don't know. Yeah, maybe he wanted to be one. Maybe that's what you're saying. I don't know, but it's not what he said anyway. Thank you, Zabob. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce names that aren't, English. I guess I'm sorry. It's very difficult for me to pronounce them. I'm gonna call you Bob because you had Bob in your name. Thank you for the follow, mate. I really appreciate that. Is it so? Anyway, tell me about some projects you guys have got going on. I want to talk about some other stuff. How is the industry? Left uni a few years ago, but joined the army instead. Industry's good, man. Yeah. At least it is for me. I don't think I have any complaints. Nothing that's changed in the last 10 years anyway. Got a project you can do for me? Go on, Ash. I'm anticipating this one. I don't know. Tell me about it. Love your content, mate. Any little controllers and software for home you can program in Ladder? I don't have anything here, to be fair, mate. I bought a new PC like 3 days ago, so I'm very limited on what software I got. I managed to download. I got Zelio Soft, which is for which maybe it would help. Maybe that's what you're after. Zelio Soft, which is for the smart relays, Schneider Zelio ones. So last night I did a live for like an hour and just showed them, showed that software side of things. Did some simulation, put a little program together. I've got the Mitsubishi software on now, and I've got this software, and that's it. I've got like literally nothing on my computer because it's a brand new computer. Any BMS engineers in here? 2 FX5s and an IQR. Are you still doing that project, Ash? Is that still ongoing? Because I was expecting maybe a couple of texts or something, but I've not heard nothing. Have you done it yet? Just started an apprenticeship in electrical maintenance, but I've worked in nurse call industry. I'm not sure what that is, mate. Nurse call. But anyway, good luck in your apprenticeship. That's the way to go, in my opinion. That's what I did. I feel like you get a very solid foundation as long as you get a good mentor. Anyway, I know some apprentices don't have the luck I did. Not all people who take on apprentices are doing it for the right reasons. Some of them just like cheap labour, someone to carry the heavy stuff. Yeah. Building ship to shore systems with VSD at the minute. Wow. Is that like when you say ship to shore? Do you mean like actual boats? Like the power supplies for them, or are you talking like wind farms and that sort of thing? Interesting stuff though, mate. I recently commissioned a simple Star Delta starter for 160 kilowatt air compressor. Nice, good job. Barack, is that how you pronounce your name? Barack, maybe. Good job, mate. I'm doing 2 single phase contactors with 2 motors. Not sure how to integrate a timer into it. What are you wanting to use the timer for? Are you just wanting a bit of a delay between the two or something? Yeah, give me a bit more information. Maybe I can help. When you're counting grounds in a wiring diagram, do you count the grounds in the horn side too? I'm not sure what you're asking there, mate. I'll be honest. I'm not sure. Sakure, thank you for the follow, mate. Tabatsu, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate it. I'm sorry for butchering everyone's names. I really do apologise. Got a nice project going for the Isle of Man, redoing the main SCADA for the water and sewage. Nice, that does sound good. What sort of PLC and SCADA system and that are you using? Yeah, no, should have done it. What, are you behind now, Ash? Are you you under pressure now with the Mitzi stuff? How did you get into controls? I'm an electrical tech looking to progress. So me personally, I got in through an apprenticeship. I left school, went to college full time, did domestic electrical. Quickly found it wasn't for me. Weren't interested in it. It was to be fair, it was a good course because we did motors and it was very varied. But I came out of it sort of thinking I don't really want to be an electrician. I don't want to climb around under people's floorboards and in people's lofts. That ain't for me. Then I started looking around and got an apprenticeship. So when you do full-time college, you aren't qualified. You need to do your AM2 side or your MVQ and that sort of thing. So I came out of college like not any better off than when I left school 2 years before. So I looked into apprenticeships and that's basically how I got into it. Yeah, doing controls and LV switchgear basically. Nurse call would be like a life safety call system. I see. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's very different to what I do. I'm not so like clued up on nurse call systems like life safety stuff. Is that like the pull cords and stuff like that, or am I way off? Nurse call is like alarms and trunking for emergency NHS. Yeah. So like the pull cords and the push buttons and stuff like that. I see. Yeah, I see. I imagine there's some pretty strict rules to follow with that sort of stuff. Boats, mate, yeah, nice and quiet compared to generators. Well, yeah, you say that, but them fucking boats have got some big old diesel generators in them sometimes. Most times, probably all the time, actually. I've done a few marine jobs, but they're quite specialists, and they're a bit different to like industrial jobs and that sort of thing. Will Cal, thank you for the follow, mate. Really appreciate that. Yeah, I want the time. I don't know how far behind. I feel like I'm a bit behind. I'm not too far behind, actually. Yeah, I want to time delay the second motor just in case of higher inrush currents. In that case, I mean, this circuit's kind of not really suited to something like that. Could it be? Could I make it be? Probably can. Let me just modify this so this ain't gonna be a standby duty anymore. I could probably easily modify this. So instead of starting the second pump when the first pump fails, I could just delete that out and I start the second pump on add a timer on delay. That's the one there. I'm gonna put that timer coil in parallel. Fuck, sorry guys, you can't even see what I'm doing here. All right, there we go. I'm putting this timer coil in parallel to the motor 1 run. It's got a 2-second timer on it, and the contact of which I think is that one there. I'll literally just take that from the same point pretty much, and hopefully if I've done that right, I'll put that into manual mode. I'll zoom out so all you guys can see it. I'll press the start button. What should happen is the first motor, this one down here, should go first. That should start running. 2 seconds later, the second one should start running. If I've done it right. This could be embarrassing. 1, 2. There we go. Wasn't embarrassing, did it? There we go. So if you want to add a timer, put the timer in parallel, the timer coil parallel in parallel to your contactor of your first one or whatever, of the coil of that, so that it starts timing at the point that the first motor runs. Set it for a few seconds, however long you think the inrush is going to be, and just literally wire the contact of that timer in series with a contactor of the second motor. Hopefully that helps. I'm always under pressure. Too much work, not enough time. I feel you there, brother. Yeah, I know that feeling a lot. It's not too bad for me at the moment. There is some big jobs I've got on, but they're like there's a bit of lead time on them. There's a bit of time before that hits. So I'm not too bad at the minute, but I know what you mean, mate. It's pretty rough. Iconic SCADA. Most of the island is on Mitsubishi Q series, slowly integrating it over to IQR. Nice, D-Reds. Yes, I like that, mate. I've not used Iconics. We used maps on one project. To be fair, SCADA's not something I'm not a specialist in it or anything like that. We've done the odd SCADA system. They seem to be a total nightmare. You need to know kind of networking and servers and stuff, and I have a basic knowledge, just enough to get me by. I'm no expert by any means. Wet shows from Sheffield. You're not too far from me. I'm in North Yorkshire. You're in Sheffield, South Yorkshire, I think. Yeah. I really love your content. I'm a year away from my mechatronics degree, and this is so cool to watch. Thank you, David. Really appreciate that, mate. Like a car horn. I had a question on my final in automotive. There's a ton of followers. Afro Mac, thank you. Mr. Wealthy, thank you. Ben Fleming, thank you. Covey89, thank you. And Fecky, I'm going to call you. I'm not sure how you pronounce your name. Thank you very much, mate, for the follows, all of you. That's why I'm half watching lives while still sat at my desk doing software for another project. What day are we on? Was it Friday? Friday night, you're doing software at 11 o'clock. Jesus. I've been there myself, though. It is a nightmare. I do get it. Future Trunks, thank you, mate. What program is this? This is Simu Relay, mate. You can find it on the Microsoft Store for PCs or Play Store or Apple Store, I believe, for phones. 6.5 MVA, 11K generator sets paired up was fun to design and commission and witness. Yeah, man, that's some serious power, 6.5 megawatt. What always blows my mind about the MV stuff is a lot of people get scared by it, like, because obviously it's like serious power. But a lot of HV stuff's safer than LV just because of the amount of controls, the amount of protection relays, the amount of effort that goes into making it safe ends up making it far safer than LV stuff. That always blows my mind. Just joined in, haven't seen this program before. What is it? Yeah, it's Simu Relay, mate. I think I've probably said that since you've asked that question. Thanks, Ben. Thank you, mate. How do you find maps? I was limited in my use of it, but by all intents and purposes, it was a bit of a nightmare and not very good, from what I understand. I was kind of helping rather than leading on that one. Is this Proteus or what software? No, it's Simu Relay, mate. Oh god, there's more names that I'm going to struggle to pronounce. Ephraim, I think. I'm really sorry if I butchered your name. Thank you for the follow. Amin, thank you for the follow, mate. Need to be HV authorized though. You do, yeah. But when we do HV works, our guys normally need to be led by the site AP or whatever. Because I don't know the rules, to be fair. I'm not sure. Obviously, my company know the rules better than I do, but you don't have to be HV qualified to do the controls. Don't know why. I guess it's because you're not in front of it, but still, in my mind, you'd need to be. You don't need to be, by all accounts. Only if you're doing the switching. We do need to be sort of, led around by the APs and that sort of thing, though. Screwface, thank you, mate. Really appreciate that. Yes, but designers don't. Exactly. Yeah, it's mad that some of the rules are super stringent, super strict, but then for other parts, they're just like, don't talk about that. Shh, keep, put it under the carpet. If you get a chance, I really recommend the Iconic Suite if you're doing any SCADA system. Like I say, mate, yeah, the job that I do, we don't really have a need to get involved with SCADA stuff. We have on occasion, but yeah, it doesn't come around often. I'd rather avoid it. It looks like a total fucking nightmare. I'd rather just program a few HMIs and that sort of thing, but obviously I know SCADA's much more than that. Caesar, thank you for the follow. Jack, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate it. Iconics isn't that good. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've never used it, so I'm not sure. I appreciate everyone who's liked this live. We're at nearly 40k likes now. We've had a lot of follows. We've had some gifts. I don't know if November's still in here. Thank you for the heart, mate. I don't know how long ago you sent that. Thank you, mate. Sub-Zero, thank you for the GG. I don't know how long ago again that was, but thank you. I think I'm going to probably wrap it up now, guys. We've been on 2 hours and 1 minute. I feel like this was a good stream. I enjoyed that, going through that software. I don't know what I'll do tomorrow. Maybe more of the same. Not sure. Everyone, let's get to 40k likes. Thank you, mate. I really appreciate that. Professor Butler, thank you, mate. I really, really appreciate that. Yeah, hopefully that was enjoyable for you. Just showing a free software that you can download that's really pretty useful. You know, there's a lot of really shit softwares that you got to pay a lot of money for. This isn't one of them. You pay no money, or you know, it's your choice whether you pay money. All you get is timers if you pay money, and it's pretty decent. Yeah, it's pretty decent. We're at 40k likes, so thank you, David. Thank you for that, mate. 60 Van, which year of AutoCAD is best for learner? To be fair, I've not noticed any real difference in the last like 5, 6, 7 years of AutoCAD. Not much has changed. I'm not entirely sure what they do change, to be fair. At least the way I use it hasn't changed very much. So if you can get the newest year, get the newest year. If not, you know, use whatever you can. AutoCAD's something that scares a lot of people. A lot of people, and I know people I know personally that just avoid it because they think it's really difficult software. It isn't at all. It just takes a bit of time, a bit of practice. Yeah. Snarky man, thank you, mate. I really appreciate that. I'm glad you liked it. Got any experience using E3? Zook and E3, I have a little experience. And it was fucking dreadful. I hated it. Couldn't stand it. It's like very rule based. And I found it was quite hindering to what I wanted to do. You know, I obviously, I never had formal training in it, so I was kind of picking it up and it was just stopping me from doing this and doing that. Didn't really like it, mate. Couldn't get on with it. I much prefer AutoCAD, yeah, definitely. Anyway, I'm going to call it there. Thank you, everyone who joined tonight. Thank you who liked. Thank you who donated. Thank you who shared. Thank you who followed. It was a good live. I'm probably going to be on tomorrow around 8:30 p.m. UK time. Not sure where that leaves you in the rest of the world. I think, yeah, you'll have to look it up. Around 8 p.m., 8:30 p.m. UK time. That's what I'm aiming for. Thanks again, Danny Sav. Thanks for joining again. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, I'll. If you can make the live tomorrow, I'll see you tomorrow.